All right. I am back, and my microphone's a little bit too high. I need to pull that down a little bit. Hopefully, angle this so that I can actually see what's going on in the screen over here. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game between Life versus 120, taking place here on Northern Isle. Over here on the top right-hand side of the map, we have 120, also more commonly played under the name EERO. Not quite sure what that stands for. I'm sure other more full-time casters or people who have time to explore the Reddit threads do know that. If any fans want to educate me on what's currently happening in the overall WarCraft 3 scene, can always leave me comments. Educate me as well as I just take a look and try to theorize what's going to be happening in the WarCraft 3 actual gameplay and what could happen in the overall meta. We are going to be opening up with the Crypt, Intuit, and an Altar of Darkness, which means that we will be going for ghouls most likely. Meanwhile, back at the other end of the map, we are going for a Keeper of the Grove. Very similar build to what Moon has been going for, Ancient of War, Keeper of the Grove. We'll see how many Moonwells are placed down later on. And eagle-eyed viewers will notice that, well, there are currently no observers, which means I do have to turn off Fog of War, unfortunately. Anyways, what's going to be going down in this particular 1v1 matchup? Keeper of the Grove will most likely be getting those forces of nature or force of nature to try and clear out this 544 creep camp off to the north. The Ancient of War will most likely uproot itself as well. And with that, this game will be getting underway. Meanwhile, over here on the top right-hand side of the map, Death Knight will be coming out. Most likely, it will be picking up a Rod of Necromancy. And then 120 has some choices and options on how he wants to maneuver about. Does he perhaps want to be going for some sort of creeping assignment? And yes, that is going to be the case, pulling 3 ghouls off of the lumber line in order to try and clear out this 544 creep camp. Now, he quickly takes out that little critter right there and going straight for that Ogre Magi. Now, I don't know if I quite agree with the Ogre Magi first. It does give Bloodlust, which is one of the main reasons why you do want to take it out, but it's still Bloodlusted both of those units. On top of that, the Tuskar Trapper is the unit with medium armor, so it takes more damage from these ghouls, and also the Tuskar Trapper deals more damage with that very fast attack right there. So I believe he went out of order right there. Small things like that do translate into a little bit more damage on your units. We'll see if that even comes to pass, as all of those ghouls will be heading back off to the north to stay on Blight. Meanwhile, back down to the south, Keeper of the Grove has picked up a Potion of Greater Healing in addition to a Gauntlets of Ogre Strength +3. Shoring up some of the weaknesses that the Keeper of the Grove normally has is the fact that is it going to do a detonation? Oh, trying to get some damage there, and it gets an entangle off. Death Knight now going to be forced to retreat there, and, well, using a little bit of mana to save that Wisp. Perhaps there is a very strict build order that Life is trying to go for, perhaps trying to tech to tier 2 a little bit faster, as the Death Knight still wanders around, taking a little bit more damage once again. Death Knight could be trying to go for a Death Coil steal here in just a moment. The Murloc Huntsman could end up getting taken down. There is the Death Coil, does get that last bit of damage right there, and it could try and repeat it again. Let's take a look at this. Death Knight now down to 409 hit points. You can see this one Murloc Flesh Eater sitting at 168. One Skeletal Minion will get taken out. There it goes, as the Death Knight has to play a very dangerous game here. Is it going to try and Death Coil that unit? And, well, not quite sure why it was wandering in that direction, as we are taking a look at ghouls now trying to chase down and unfortunately unable to finish off that Wisp going after that Moonwell. We are looking at more Moonwell production. This is commonplace for Night Elf players. If you are new to the Night Elf race, as we now see a surround onto this one particular Keeper of the Grove. Keeper of the Grove could end up getting taken down. This could be potentially very disastrous. Now trying to slip away. Keeper of the Grove, however, still getting in a good amount of damage. Death Knight is going to perhaps be able to finish off. No, the Skeletal Minion, or unable to finish off. There goes a sacrificing unit once more. The Keeper of the Grove still had a Potion of Greater Healing, but you don't want to be using those items early on. Camdam, thank you for tuning in. Glad I got a break just in time for. Yep, there is plenty of YouTube videos out there if you do want to hear me banter on and on about Warcraft 3, a game I do love to talk about and play, as we are now going into Dual Crypt. Alright, Dual Crypt after a Necropolis upgrade can only mean one thing. It is going to be gargoyles heading into the skies. Now, gargoyles are a very dangerous opening, especially when your opponent has gone for mass archers. And it normally does not make a lot of sense there, as that rock golem down to 23 hit points. We are going to be getting up a tree of life. There's a boulder to that archer. The archer only taking 80% of that damage. I don't know if you actually noticed that. Instead of taking the full 100, only took 80 hit points of damage, because they do have, I believe it's called a Loon's Blessing, to, well, take reduced damage from any sort of magic attack. So although an archer only has 260 hit points, that additional resistance makes it a little bit stronger when trying to go up against any sort of piercing or any sort of magic damage, including frost novas, spells, things of that nature. Alchemist now once again on the move. We're looking at 35 supply compared to 36, pretty much dead even. Alchemist is a very strong unit in this matchup because it can in fact attack air, as this tree of life is now going to be getting pressured. Now, 2 gargoyles and 120 has now tipped his hand. That is going to be a problem, as it may start an influx of, Ancient of Winds with Hippogriff Riders. Hippogriff Riders are increasingly powerful in this particular matchup, since the archers can jump onto the back, and, well, if things go awry, they can dismount as well. Love the videos too. First time here. What were you saying about Moonwells for Night Elves? I was saying if you are a Night Elf player, make sure and you know the timing on when to build these Moonwells so that they are actually full by the time you hit daybreak. You'll see a lot of Night Elf players who, how do I phrase this? A lot of Night Elf players, or a lot of people who are new to Warcraft 3, assume that you only build farms when you need them, when you're going to get to that next tier, right? That is not the case for Night Elf. For Night Elf, the timing is that you do want to have your Moonwells. You want to get into that 50 supply range, even if you are still in the low to mid 30s, because you want that extra Moonwell moon juice for this next long daybreak. That first next long daybreak does end up becoming a problem, as you're now taking a look at the archers trying to do a little bit of an escape. Death Knight now sits at level 3. You are looking at a big acid bomb across multiple gargoyles, but that negative armor is going to be coming into a debuff now. All right, let's take a look at that big frost nova once again, and somehow this archer army is actually getting destroyed by all of these gargoyles. All right, Alchemist. Let's take a look at this. You're just going straight after the units and pretty much ignoring the heroes, as the gargoyle now heads back up on the high ground. Gargoyle is continuing to fight. Archers are falling left and right here. And what's going to end up happening as the hippogriffs now join in on the fight. Hippogriffs charging after those gargoyles. It is going to be a game of numbers. Whoever has more units ends up winning that battle. Entangle now onto the Lich. Death Knight trying to stay nearby, most likely just to try and give, well, a body in the way in order to block that chemical raging Alchemist. Also to give that, well, give that Lich unholy aura consistently. The Death Knight most likely could outrun that Lich, and then that could end up becoming a problem, as the Lich would be left behind, as it does not have the unholy aura 10% movement speed bonus at level 1. Coming back the other way, a Ghoul. I'm not quite sure why it threw itself onto this creep there. 37 over 60 supply compared to 34 over 50. This is exactly what I'm talking about for the Night Elf army earlier. You want more Moonwells to be full during this first long daybreak period. That's an important aspect. Just time management, literally daytime versus nighttime management in a Warcraft 3 game. If you're able to strike a Night Elf player just as daybreak is about to happen, those Moonwells will be drier by the time you do try to engage a little bit later on, say 6 to 8 in-game hours later. They're not going to be able to heal nearly as fast. That does all go out the window, as they do invest in moonstones as well. But you are forcing your opponent to spend gold, which is a very important resource. Death Knight, sitting at level 3, picks up an Orb of Corruption. Lich is sitting at level 2, has Claws of Attack +6, and most likely at this point also has oh, thank you for the subscription, also has a Dark Ritual for that mana. Are we also going to be looking, oh nope, quick entangle onto the Death Knight. Death Knight could be in trouble, going to turn back around. Is he going to be able to break free? Now trying to escape back here. No Acid Bomb onto the Gargoyles though, as you fight in this rather tight choke point. Gargoyles will be going up against Hippogriff and Hippogriff Riders right now, and this is a bit interesting. As you see, the Null Assassins are actually spreading across a lot of damage. Who's going to come out on top here? The Hippogriff Riders only deal 16 to 18 damage, and that's actually a big win there, as you see a big Frost Nova go across multiple units. Now, here is the ultimate question as we take a look at Gargoyles versus Hippogriffs. Who's going to be able to get more spells off? Acid Bomb versus, well, Frost Nova. The Lich has been taken down, and this does put 120 in a very strange situation. Now that 120 has lost that Lich, and the and the Alchemist is still up. Once the Alchemist gets enough mana for another Acid Bomb, it is going to definitely go in favor of the Night Elf. That Acid Bomb, that damage over time, that additional negative armor. Meanwhile, we are also looking at Vampiric Aura on all of these Hippogriffs, which give them a 10% rejuvenation as well, or restoration, and that is very high for that melee attack. If, well, you needed a little bit more damage, that is exactly what you needed right there, or a little bit more survivability. Gargoyle does end up surviving. Lich is back out onto the field, resurrected at the tavern, as 120 is currently down by, what is that, 18, or was that 15 supply now. Death Knight now makes its way over, trying to finish off this Arachnid creep camp. Lich should be able to get to level 3. Death Knight gets to level 4. We are also looking at Skeletal Warriors Devour Magic right there, gaining a little bit of additional hit points and mana to that unit there. Lich does get up to level 3, but 120 is definitely behind in this game. Losing that Lich early on, and the fact that that Lich's Frost Nova costs 125 makes this makes this exchange a little bit more difficult. Now trying to go after more units. The Destroyer should really be going after that Drake, and it is in fact going after that Drake. Obsidian statues now showing up, but 120 needs to figure out how to really go the distance. Death Knight picks up Brilliance Aura, very helpful indeed, but it may be too little too late, as the Keeper of the Grove getting close to level 5, and the Alchemist, well, with that Vampiric Aura, makes this Hippogriff army just that much stronger. Devour Magic also adds hit points. I believe so. It gives you mana onto those Destroyers, and it gives a little bit of hit points, as we're now taking a look at the Null Warden there. I'll have to double check that now that you're making me question myself, as we're taking a look at the fight going back here. All right, there are 2 Crypt Fiends out onto the field, which will shut down some of those Hippogriff Riders, but it may be too little too late, as the Hippogriff Riders are now just diving straight on into the base of 120. All right, here's a Scroll of Town Portal. Maybe too little too late, though, as the Keeper of the Grove, going after all of these units. There's a couple of webs down already. Constant fighting underway. Now Force of Nature is going to join in on the fight. The Destroyer was already taken out earlier, and that's the reason why these Ents are just here to play. No, the Destroyer is currently in play. Is it going to be able to get another Devour Magic off? Not quite sure. Essence of Mana Destroyer going to get taken down. There it goes. The Hippogriff Rider is just pecking it to death. And with a 40 supply discrepancy at the very end, well, life takes this game. 120 just really never gained traction in that matchup, losing that Lich early on, and the fact that, well, the Alchemist is already a natural counter to units that generally stack on top of each other, such as the Gargoyles, made that fight a little bit lopsided. Add in the fact that Vampiric Aura was given to the Hippogriff Riders, and they're able to heal, I believe, 10% per every attack. Negative armor as well, and all of a sudden the Hippogriff Riders had a tremendous advantage going up against those Gargoyles that are normally a very good anti-air units as well. So 120 on the losing end of that battle. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.